Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme: Mixu Paatelainen says he won't walk away despite Dundee United being relegated at their city rivals Dundee. PFA Player of the Year Leigh Griffiths says he can get even better for Celtic. And the impossible dream is now a reality for Claudio Ranieri and Leicester City. Just a few of the talking points on tonight's programme. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Delighted to see that you are here with us, Ruffy. Delighted that I'm here with you after an unbelievable weekend, capped off, of course, by the PFA Scotland Player of the Year Awards.
Yeah, it was a great night, a night for all the players to celebrate, and it's good to see. I always get a great kick out of the players for the lower divisions there who don't get a lot of recognition, but they certainly come along and they enjoy themselves, and you can see that how much it means to be part of a team and winning something.
Of course, we didn't have any Dundee United players there, or Dundee, because they were getting ready for the derby, and a derby that offered the ultimate for Dundee fans to relegate United at Dens Park, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I think the final goal just summed up their whole season, you know, to lose it so late in the game. But no, there was dejected scenes all around the place, and quite rightly so, because it means a big thing for the players going down the division. Their finances, you know, everything has to be looked at, and it remains to be seen now what happens at Dundee United.
Yeah, well, John Rankin has mentioned the fact that he thinks it could be a really difficult time, and he doesn't know how long it would take Dundee United to get back up if they don't do it as what he calls a one season, a one-hit wonder, just get back up at the first time of asking.
Yeah, I think everything has to be sorted out behind the scenes. There obviously a lot of players will leave the club. It'll be interesting to see who's going to come in. Be interesting to see whether the manager's still there as well, and the owners.
And as far as the clear out, does it need a clear out?
Yeah, I think it does. I think there's far too many players come in short term there. I think you need to do, I keep saying what Jim McIntyre's done up at Ross County. I think you need to bring a nucleus of players in here who are going to be there with you for the fight until the end, and I think they're all over the place just now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. OK,
the manager says he's not going to walk away. Give me your assessment on this. I thought maybe you have to take responsibility for your own team. He had quite a long hit at it to try and mould a team to save them from the dismal performances under Jackie McNamara that prompted the change of the manager in the first place. So he's had a dig at the previous manager. Is it all his fault, or does the chairman have to bear a huge brunt of this?
I think both of them. I think the chairman in particular didn't handle the situation with Jackie McNamara at all. Obviously turned the fans against Jackie, and in doing that turned the fans against the players as well, because every time there was a bad result, supporters being supporters, you know, latched onto that, you know, and they seem to be all over the place. And since Mix's come in, okay, he's brought in 3 or 4 players, but I can't see any improvement at all. So the owners will have to really seriously look at it and see if it's a new guy with a new thought of where the club's going to go. Yeah,
here's the look at the weekend results, Ruffy, because obviously we were off yesterday, but a look at the fixtures in the Premiership. It finished with Celtic with that win at Hearts, and now it's just a coronation really against Aberdeen at Celtic Park at the weekend. Aberdeen 4-1 winners over Motherwell, Hamilton 0, Kilmarnock 4. There's Partick Thistle losing out heavily to Inverness, and of course St Johnstone getting the win over Ross County up there at Dingwall. Just on that point, Celtic now, we're only waiting for them just to get over the line, I presume. I can't see any way.
No, I can't either. The only thing I'm hoping is that the players' individual celebrations are a wee bit better than what they were at Tynecastle. You know, when they went in the line and they all come out individually and did a wee act or a wee dance or whatever. Some of it was really, some of it was poor. But I'm sure the weekend with a full house, I would suppose, going along there, it'll be a fantastic day.
Yep, and of course the man who'll be the PFA Scotland Player of the Year will be playing up front, I would presume, for Celtic. He reckons he can get even better. He's got to work on a number of aspects of his game, but clearly he has Scotland in his sights as well on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the target he's got to set. He's done everything this year. You know, he's scored goals, which all he's been asked of, and now we're all asking, you know, can he get better? Can he be that striker that we're looking for? I mean, and Celtic will be supporters will be saying, can he be that striker that's going to do something in Europe? So I think that would be the two targets that he'd be going for. Firstly, obviously, with Celtic in Europe, and then trying to convince Gordon Strachan that he is the #1 striker.
It'll be a bitter pill to swallow, Ruffy, for Aberdeen going to Celtic Park. It promised so much, and in the end it failed to deliver.
Yeah, I have to say, all credit to them. I thought they gave Celtic a run for their money. There were occasions during the year when the neutrals outside were beginning to say, oh, we've got a challenge on here. We could have a new winner. And they had chances. They had chances to sort of go level with Celtic, and on certain occasions to go above them, but they just didn't have the ability to grasp it on the day, and Celtic got away with it.
So we now know that Dundee United are relegated. Have you accepted that?
I'm afraid so. Yeah, I have to sort of buckle to it now. You know, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think the dejection for last night was there for everybody to see. So I can't see them picking themselves up at all.
Yep. Okay. Finally, Ruffy, the playoffs. Suddenly it gets exciting.
Exciting for everybody outside of it. I don't think it'll be exciting for the players. I think nerves are steel, you know, and I've said this on numerous occasions, when you come to big games, there's no guarantee that 11 players are going to turn it on the night, and you might get away with 7 or 8 producing the form that they can. So it depends on which of these players turn it on, and certainly, I mean, Hibs have got them as well, but Braith Rovers are the team in form for me. You know, they're winning games, and they'll go into that game with a lot of confidence.
Yep, and of course, we still at this moment are waiting to see who they could be playing in the second bottom place in the Premiership.
Yeah, again, a terrible result for Hamilton Accies, you know, after the result away from home, 3-1, and then to get hammered at home. A lot of dissent in the fans, but the main objection for them is to stay in the division. You know, that's be all and end all. Kilmarnock seem to be hitting a bit of form at the right time, so I think it would be between these two. Obviously, my old team, Partick Thistle, are hovering just above them, so they'll be hoping the next game they can pick up something.
Yeah, I think it's a disappointment, really, for Thistle, though, because they looked as if they were coasting and thinking about top 6, and all of a sudden just dragged into it.
I think that's why the bottom of the league's so tight. You know, I don't think there's a much about all the sides. They're all capable of beating each other, but I think Alan Archibald would have been expecting, you know, to take something out of that game at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we get to the other playoffs and looking ahead to them, are you still of the opinion that it could be Hibs for you when it eventually gets down to the playoff final? Yeah,
I think they will. I think they've got lots of games to play, a lot of hard games, but I think momentum might carry them over the line. And obviously, when I'd say momentum, it means a winning momentum if you can go onto a run at the right time. But it's going to be a big ask for them, and it'd be, as far as Alan Stubbs is concerned, it'd be a horrible end of the season if they don't achieve anything.
Yeah, tomorrow, in fact tonight's games, I mean, Peterhead United, having spoken to the management team of Jim McInally and Davy Nichols, Peterhead have kind of switched off for a good 4 or 5 weeks. Can they turn it on? Do they? I think the general feeling that Jim McInally said to me at the weekend was, as long as we're still in it for the second leg, we've got a chance because they'll have McAllister back. Yeah,
I mean, that's the hope. You know, your main goal scorer is out. You know, he'll be hoping he can take something down to Somerset. I think that'll be a really tight game, but we're led to believe that he's been resting his players. He's had the luxury of knowing where he's going to go before everybody else, so the players will be up for it. But you're right, sometimes it's very difficult to switch back on again.
And Clyde Elgin City.
Yeah, well, they've done well. I mean, that's a league that everybody's been in and out, and but they know where they are now. They know what's at stake. So again, you know, all these playoff games, I think it's very difficult to predict anything.
Yeah. Just before we get into the break, just one little news story that caught my eye today, Ruffy. Hearts plan to have the stadium ready for about September 2017. Anne Budge revealed to the Hearts fans that 50% of the funding's already in place and they don't expect any debt by the time it's finished. I think that's fantastic.
It's an amazing turnabout. You know, everybody's talking about obviously Rangers getting to where they are now from where they were, but Hearts is equally, you know, an achievement and a half. Everything they've changed behind the scenes, and to do behind the scenes and on the park at the same time, and keep the supporters on board has just been incredible.
And the final point here on the news stuff today, Ruffy, Alex McLeish sacked by Zamalek at the Egyptian side.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get 60-day contracts now. So, I mean, good luck to him.
I was just thinking, you know, it's the fifth manager that the president has sacked in a very short space of time. So it's another payoff, but I'm sure Alec would have wanted a little longer to try and turn things around there. Okay, we'll be back after the break talking more playoffs, looking at some of the other results from the weekend as well, and discussing even more news. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's football show. It's been an amazing weekend of football, with the drama of Dundee United being relegated, and of course now teams in the lower divisions know what they have to do as far as the playoffs are concerned. We've got a couple of matches tonight, and of course Raith Hibs on the Wednesday, Stranraer against Livingston, and Queen's Park Cowdenbeath. I would imagine then if you think Hibs are going to get through, then they're going to get a positive result at Starks Park on Wednesday. Yeah,
I think they'll be good enough to go there, you know, and get something out of the game. I think it's positive. It's very, very positive to take something back in the second leg. I think we all know the importance when we see these European games with two legs. It's important if you come back from wherever you've been to get something you can actually build on or hold on to. So, yeah, I think Hibs have got the players there, and I think they've got a wee bit of the momentum as well. I think the beating Rangers 3-2 at home was a big lift for them.
Yep, okay. And as far as the other playoff games, Stranraer against Livingston. Stranraer just edged it, did enough, 1-0 win at the weekend, and now they take on a Livingston side that, the disappointment of being second bottom, now they have to try and lift themselves again, albeit under a different manager from Mark Burchell. David Hopkirk has made an impression on them.
Yeah, he has, and you have to look at some of the games. Unfortunately, the consistency level hasn't been there. But as we've seen, when they play the top teams, particularly Rangers, you know, they can turn up, you know, and he'll be saying to his players, look, you know, that's the kind of performances you need to turn on, and particularly in the next two games coming up. And he has to make the players believe that these are two games, and they've just got to be at their best for it. They're not talking about over 10 or 12 games. It's just these two games. I'm
slightly biased, but I'm delighted that despite the defeat at the weekend, Queen's Park sneak in there. They're going to take on Cowdenbeath.
Yeah, I think we all know the resources that Gus has got over there. You know, he's got to look about for amateurs, juniors, you know, coming in, players coming and going. But he certainly went in there, and since the day he's went in there, he's certainly got the formation of everything behind the scenes, and all the other teams under the full squad, and they're all doing well, and that's the rewards you get, and he'll be hoping he can do it.
Okay, there's a couple of things I wanted to get your thoughts on. The reason speculation, you know, at times doesn't really get to the top of our agenda is because over the summer months, Ruffy, I think, and over the next month especially, starts to gather pace on managers who are going to take jobs up, players who are going to be going here, there and everywhere. I don't think Mark Warburton was going to warm to the suggestion of Everton too much. He's got a job to do, and I think he's got to prove to everyone that he's the real deal at Rangers in the Premiership.
Yeah, I think he has. He's done a fantastic season, and I think he knows now the magnitude of what it's like to be with a top team in Scotland, and he's beginning to grow into it. When you interviewed him at the weekend there, I don't think he needs anybody to tell him now. I think he's grasped, you know, what it is. You have to be a successful manager with a club, and that'll be the target from him. But it would be interesting, you know, for a top club like that was to come in. It'd be a test for him, you know, to see, you know, because we keep hearing everybody saying, oh, you've got to be down in England to prove yourself, all that kind of thing. So I think that would be the only thing that would be for him to make his mind up about.
Yeah, I wouldn't for 1 minute suggest they'd knock it back. If Everton were coming in for Mark Warburton, he'd be off.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening. I think that's just a kind of almost one of those little agent throws the story up in the air.
I would be thinking there would be lots of other managers out there would be possibly on the list before Mark, but certainly, you know, I just think if I was him, I'd want to test myself against Celtic and Aberdeen and Hearts. What's the point of coming up just for that 1 year to move on? You know, I think he's got a lot to go for.
Yeah, and as far as Celtic are concerned, Ruffy, Brendan Rodgers certainly dropped a little hint that he holds Celtic in high esteem. Is it a job that you can see him taking? Did we have him in our top 3 candidates, or has the comments that he's made suddenly put him in there to number 4 maybe, or number 1?
No, I thought he was running about 4 or 5. He's 4 or 5, but I mean, we all keep talking about the supporters drifting away, and you need something drastic to bring them back. And unfortunately, the 3 or 4 managers that are before him in the list would I think be more appealing than him.
Yeah. So is he the type that will put bums in seats if he was to be paraded?
I think he's a nearly bums in seats. He's a nearly. I mean, we know David Moyes, Martin O'Neill, you know, are bums in seats. I think they would have to be a wee bit of spin in why he is the man for the job. But I think he certainly, any time I've seen him on the telly and everything, I think he's good.
Why would you mention Martin O'Neill? I can't see it.
No, I can't. No, but I'm just saying he would be the guy that would put bums in seats. But I can't see it either. You know, and then your candidates start getting eliminated, and then that could be the kind of manager that you're left to try and tell everybody that he is the man.
Okay, you've explained your way out of that fairly well. Now I want to get your thoughts on the dream that is Leicester City. Everyone's talking about it. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. Not only for the fact that they got a good 1-1 draw at Old Trafford against Man United, but just watching the Chelsea-Tottenham game unfold, I thought to myself, Tottenham are right up for this. Suddenly, Chelsea fight back, and then it became a game where I was amazed that nobody gets sent off. But the ultimate thing is, Leicester City are the champions of the Premier League in England. Yeah,
and I read somebody saying, no, I think we're all getting caught up a wee bit in a fairy tale, you know, because their owner's worth 200 million or something like that. But he hasn't thrown it at it. You know, that's the difference. You know, there's money there, but he's stuck by the team, and he saw that bond that they've all got. And it was very noticeable last night. I don't know if you saw the video of them all in Vardy's house watching the game. And that's what it's all about. That's team spirit, you know, and that's why they are where they are. Okay, they've had a wee rub of the green throughout the last 2 months, you know, where all the big teams have been playing each other and cutting each other up here and late goals here. But all credit to them, you know, they've got the points in the bag, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, and with that in mind, Ruffy, I mean, is it a situation where there's hope for others when you consider they only spend over 20-odd million to win the Premiership in comparison to the millions that's been spent elsewhere?
Yeah, but I still don't think next year they'll throw money at it either. You know, I think they'll enjoy everything that's happened this year. I can't, unless the other big ones all get their act together, I can't see it happening again for a long, long time. So just enjoy the moment, and the supporters will as well.
Yeah, you better than anybody are well placed, Ruffy, to suggest that these players will be dining out for the next 40 years on this moment of glory. Is it also a case that Ranieri should be given the freedom of the city and a statue outside the stadium?
Oh, I would think so. I think he deserves everything, and the players deserve everything else. And the only good thing I'm looking for is Gary Lineker. I think he's reported that he's going to do a show. Yeah. What was it he said he was going to do again?
He would do it in his boxer shorts if Leicester won the title.
He probably just wants to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So we would do that as well, but
absolutely.
If Airdrie won the
league. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say to you, if Partick Thistle were to win the Premiership in Scotland, would you sit in your boxer shorts, or let's be cut straight to the chase? Would you go out and work out as much as you could so that you looked all right in the boxer shorts on the show?
You'd have to. You'd have to be professional about it. It's all right saying sitting in your boxer shorts, but you would have to look reasonable. But I've got a few years before that's going to happen, so let's have the chance.
You're absolutely right. Listen, I can't go without mentioning this, because it's the strangest thing about when we look back on things. There was a dinner to celebrate Celtic winning the league in 1986, which happened actually today in 1986, and a few of the ex-players were there, including, of course, Albert Kidd, and I can't ever remember him playing for Celtic, but of course he had such a major say on that day.
Yeah, he certainly did. I can remember it was only yesterday. There was 6-7 minutes to go. He came on as a substitute, and we all know what was happening across the road with Celtic piling in the goals, 4-0. And I've heard Gary Mackay, and I've heard other Hearts boys talking about that game, and it's just amazing that they still can't get over it, you know, and quite rightly so. It's a hard one to take, but you know, that's what happens in football.
Yeah, it's the first day I actually spent. It's the first day I moved to Edinburgh, and it was painful for many fans.
Oh, fans and players, you know, when you don't get winning the league very often, you know, you get a chance and it's there for you, you know, to go up there and just look for a draw, and with 6 or 7 minutes to go and you've got that draw, you're not going to try and win the game, and then for something like that to happen, hard to take.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, Ruffy, enjoyed our wee chat today because, of course, we're getting towards the end of the season. We've got a couple of specials coming up for you on Thursday and Friday with a few special guests that I think you might enjoy. And that's on Thursday and Friday, of course, because it's a big election week, but we still talk football on Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Thanks to Ruffy for tonight. We're looking back over the weekend. Tomorrow we'll reflect on the playoff first leg ties of this evening, and we'll look ahead to even more football over the weekend. Good night.